everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these super cute and fun Easter chicks. They're a lot of fun because you can hide an Easter egg inside and use it for an egg cozy, and a regular size real egg fits as well. Or you can make a little stuffed insert, and this one's left open because I wanted to show you how I do that. And make it just a stuffy that they can play with, or you can use for decoration for your Easter and spring celebrations. They're super easy, super fun, and you can find this crochet pattern on my blog, and I'll put that link down in the notes underneath this video. What you need to make an Easter chick is, of course, some yarn. You can use any worsted weight number 4 yarn. It can be acrylic, it can be a cotton blend, or it can be cotton. All of it will work as long as it's a medium number 4. I'm using this teal color today. I really like it. I think it's bright and colorful. You're going to need just a tiny bit of orange so you can make their little beak, and then a tiny bit of black for their eyes. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, and it's a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in ends and sewing on their eye, and you'll also need your scissors. The other thing you'll need is some plastic eggs if you want to put eggs inside. They're fun to hide little candies and treats in there, or little toys. If you want to make your chick just a little stuffy, you're going to need some stuffing. And I'm going to show you how I take my stuffing and a leftover knee-high or nylon or even tights and make a little pouch so you can stick it inside and your stuffing won't come out on the outside, and then show you how to sew it closed. So you have a couple options there. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 20 chains. Now be sure not to stitch this chain too tightly, or the bottom of your chick will be too tight to slip an egg inside. All right, there's my 20. Now I'm going to join that in a circle, being careful not to twist my chain. There we go. So I'm going to join, toe out of the way, with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 1. All right, now our chicken is stitched in half double crochets. So on row 2, I'm going to stitch 1 half double crochet in each of the 20 chains. Yarn over, go in the chain, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 3 of those loops. That's our half double crochet, and we're going to stitch 1 half double crochet in each of the 20 chains. One half double crochet in each of the chains around, and then we'll join to our first half double crochet. I've stitched 1 half double crochet in each of the chains around, so I have 20 half double crochets. I'm going to join to the first half double crochet, not the chain 1. The chain 1 is just to get us back up where we belong. All right, so slip stitch and chain 1. The chain 1 does not count as a stitch on this project. All right, now on row 3, we're going to stitch 1 half double crochet in the first 2 stitches, and then 2 half double crochets in the next 1 and 2. And we'll repeat this all the way around. 1 half double crochet in the next 2 half double crochets, and then 2 half double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and 2 half double crochets in the next. And we'll repeat that, working all the way around, and then we'll join back to our first half double crochet. So I've completed that row, and for row 3 you should have 26 half double crochets. Our first row was just our chain, then we did the half double crochets and had 20, and now we have our third row has 26 half double crochets. We're going to join with a slip stitch and just chain 1. And now for row 4, we're just going to stitch 1 half double crochet in each of the half double crochets around. Working all the way around, stitching 1 half double crochet in each of the half double crochets around. Whoops, there we go. Once I get all the way back around, I'll join to the top of that first half double crochet with a slip stitch. I've completed that row of 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet around. I'm going to join to the top of my first half double crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. And now for the next 3 rows, we'll repeat what we did for this row. 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet around, join to the first half double crochet and chain 1, and we'll repeat that for 3 more rows. I've completed those 3 additional rows of 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet around, join and chain 1. Now, if you'll notice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like I have 6 rows. On this pattern, we counted our chain is our first row, and then began counting our rows with the first row of half double crochet after the chain. So we're actually having 7 rows here because we counted that chain as our first row, just to keep you from being confused. All right, we're going to do our tail feathers next. So we're going to chain 10 chains. Okay, now we're going to join to the first chain that we made with a slip stitch. So put our hook in, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through the loop on our hook. And I like to snug that down a little bit, and then we're going to chain 9. All right, we're going to slip stitch in that same chain, and that's how we make the tail feathers. Now that the tail feathers are made, we're going to be closing up the top of our Easter chick, and we'll be stitching through both sides in order to sew them together. So what we're going to do first is we're going to put a slip stitch right in that end of the tail, just so that our tail feathers stick up. There we go. We're going to fold our chick in half, make sure your tail feathers are on the end, and we're going to go through both thicknesses. So we're going to place 7 single crochets in the next 7 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the next 7. So there's 1, and see I'm going through both thicknesses. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So by doing those single crochets, we've closed up the back of our chick. Now we're going to form the head of our chick, and we're still going to be going through both thicknesses. So in the next 2 stitches, we're going to stitch a half double crochet going through both thicknesses. Alright, so there's our 2 half double crochets. Now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the next 2 stitches. So we'll yarn over, we'll go through both thicknesses, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. And now we're going to stitch another double crochet right in that same stitch. And now we're going to repeat that in the next stitch. 2 double crochets, and again, make sure you're going through both thicknesses of the front and the back of your chick. And see how that comes up so we can start to form that head. Alright, then we should have 1 set of stitches left, and in that last set of stitches we're going to stitch a single crochet and then a slip stitch right in that same spot. And we'll cut our yarn and tie off. And then what I do is I put my hook right up inside there, and I try to go through a stitch, not a hole, and I'll grab that yarn and pull that to the inside of my chick. There we go. And we'll just go ahead and take our needle and weave that in, and it's done. We don't have to come back and do it again. There we go. And there is our chick. Now he needs a beak and an eye. Alright, let's make the little beak. I've got my orange. You can also use yellow or another color if you prefer. We'll start with that slip knot, and we're going to chain 4. We're going to place a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. In the next chain, we're going to stitch a single crochet. And then in that last stitch, we'll stitch a half double crochet. And that gives us our shape of our beak. I'm going to cut my yarn, leaving myself enough so I can sew it onto my chick and tie that off. Alright, now all we have to do is sew it on. So I like to place it right here. Here is where we did our stitching. Here's our last slip stitch. And what I do is I like to just go right in that last slip stitch. There we go. Pull it in. And then I take that off. Alright, then I grab the other side. I'll put my hand up inside there and just place it where I want it. Make a stitch that comes back up like this. There we go. And then I'll just make a couple of stitches so I know that beak's going to stay in place. I don't want to make big stitches because I don't really want the orange to show through on the blue. But I'm going to look on both sides, make sure it's attached the way I like it, and I'll go right to the inside as well. There we go. And then I just take those 2 strings and I tie a knot. Now I realize in a lot of crochet we shouldn't tie knots, but I like to tie a knot here, and I'll tie 3 knots. And if you're going to have a child play with this, you can always add just a dab of fray check or fabric glue if you're worried that's going to come undone. To be honest with you, mine have been played with a bunch and none of them have ever come undone. Alright, so there's our little beak. And then we're just going to take a little piece of black yarn or brown yarn or whatever color you want to use for the eyes. And so what I do is where I have those 4 double crochets, I go in the 2 in the center of the stitch and just make a stitch that looks like that. Then I turn it over and I go back the way I came, so I have a stitch on this side. All right, and then I'll go in and just go right inside my chick again. All right, then I'll take my needle off and I'll do the same thing here. I'll go right inside where I've made those stitches. All right, then we'll turn it inside out. And one thing, you don't have to do this type of an eye. You can do a French knot or something else. I just do it this way because I just want it to stay put and it doesn't need to be a big eye. There's my 3 knots and clip. All right, so there's my chick. And now let me grab one of these eggs. You can take that chick and just slide that egg up inside. And like I said, this will fit a regular egg as well that maybe you boiled. All right, now, but what if I want to just stuff my little chick? And I'm going to show you how to make a little pouch like this, okay? And I like to do this because if kids are going to play with this, that stuffing might come through or might show through. Now, you can use a nylon that you have. Sometimes if your children have tights that are left over, you can tie a little knot and make a pouch. Maybe they've snagged them or something. You can also use mismatched socks as long as they're not too thick. Now, I don't really like using the terry ones like sport socks unless I'm making something bigger. But for something small like this, I'll just tie a little knot on the end of a nylon that doesn't work anymore. And you can also buy these at the dollar stores for like 99 cents. And so they're really, really cheap. All right, then I take some stuffing, and that's probably too much. Let's see. And I'll test it out inside my chick. So I want to make sure I've got enough that's going to work. All right, that's a good amount. All right, get the fuzz out of there. Then I'll put it inside the nylon. And I'll kind of spread it out a little bit so that it's not too tight. And nylons are super easy to put in a knot like this. All right, so there's my knot. I'm going to cut that band off so I don't have a big chunk of nothing there. So here's a nice little pouch to fit inside my chick. Now, you don't have to close that if you don't want to. If you want to just use it for decoration, it'll work just fine. But if kiddos are going to play with it, just take a piece of yarn that matches. Thread your needle. Whoops, a little string there. And here's where I started. Got a little thread there. Let me pull that inside so it doesn't show. There we go. And I just whip stitch it closed. I'll put it together like this. There we go. I try not to grab that nylon because I just don't want it, you know, snagged up and hooked on. But if you do, it's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to help it stay put. All right, and there we go. We just got to weave these ends in. I'm going to bring it back to this end. Stretch it out a little bit. And there's your little chick. Now I'm going to go ahead and just tie a knot. But I would weave those in. But I'm just tying a knot for now just to get it done. Alright, so now we have a little chick that they can play with. You know, and don't have to worry about the stuffing coming out. It's going to stay put. And have some fun with it. So whether you're going to put an Easter egg inside or stuff it, these Easter chicks are super fun to make. Now, just a note, we're going to be starting our mama chick crochet along next week. And these are the babies that go with the mama chick. So you'll probably want to watch that next week so you can make a mama chick for your babies.